Hello everybody, it's Richie. Gonna do a Dead Kennedys vinyl collection video. Dead Kennedys, I believe they formed in '78 in San Francisco. One of the best hardcore punk bands, period. The drums, the guitar, and the bass, three-piece. It was amazing what they could do. It was kind of like, you know, Jimi Hendrix Experience. When if you saw them live, it was kind of hard to believe it was only three guys playing instruments. And when you saw the Dead Kennedys, it was kind of a similar situation. The Jello Biafra is a really good singer. I had trouble including him in my top 20 video. I did a top 20 punk rock singers video. I did not include him because once in a while he goes on these, I don't know, that's my Yoko impression. He does this weird voice thing sometimes, and that's why I didn't include him. But he was great. I saw them 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 times. First time was probably in 1980, and that might have been the best time I ever saw them. We went the night before. They were playing, I think, 2 or 3 nights at Florentine Gardens. Me and a neighbor, she was into punk rock. She was more into the guys than anything else. And my wife at the time, or girlfriend, she didn't want to go, so me and the other gal went. And we didn't have tickets. It was sold out. We couldn't get in, but we hung out. She got beat with a billy club. She was in the back with some guys, and the police came through. I did get beat, but I got threatened by LAPD that night. I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard East, and I noticed all the kids and punks were on the south side of the street. And I go, that's weird, you know. And I'm walking, and then all of a sudden I hear behind me, should we kick his ass? And I turn around, there was 5 cops walking like 10 feet behind me, and I go, oh fuck. I mean, I shot across Hollywood Boulevard, which is dangerous. I mean, there's 3 lanes going each way. I mean, I could have been killed. But yet, whenever I saw the Dead Kennedys, I think 3 times the LAPD force was involved. Especially at the earlier shows, they used to show a presence. The second time I saw them, well, the next night, I should say, I went back, and it wasn't sold out, and I got in, and I got to see them, and it was probably the best time I saw them. I saw them again once, and it was a little harbor town. God damn, I should have looked this up. Just northwest of Long Beach, just south of Compton. There's a little town there. I can't remember what it is. And they played it like a little hall, Veterans Hall or something. And John Messias from Circle One was there. He didn't go in. He had his own promotion company going on, Punks it was called, and he stayed outside. This was like I don't think it was a Golden Voice, but it was a different promotion company, and he was causing trouble outside in the neighborhood. It was in a neighborhood, and the police came because of what was going on outside. They came in during the Dead Kennedys set, and there wasn't really nothing going on inside out of the ordinary. But when they came in, then things got crazy. And I believe, if my memory serves me right, they shot off a canister of tear gas in there. I was up front. I jumped up on the stage, and I went through the back where the bands were. That's how I got out of there. But it was a nightmare. I saw them another time in Hollywood, and I think I saw them twice in Olympic Auditorium, downtown LA. That's enough. The first Dead Kennedys, 45, and I forgot to take them out of the plastic. Son of a bitch, I'm pissed at myself. This came out in 79. It's Dead Kennedys, Uber Alles, backed with Man with the Dogs. This is their very first single. And this is the first pressing of it. And it comes on Alternative Tentacles, but it doesn't have that Alternative Tentacles logo yet. That's how you can tell if this, you have a first press. Their second 45 7-inch is the Dead Kennedys Holiday in Cambodia, backed with Police Truck. This is a fantastic 7-inch. And again, it's got a Pol Pot on the back, I believe that is. Yeah. And this on the other side. And I believe this is on. It's produced by Giza X. Wow. Is this on Alternative Tentacles? It doesn't say. Oh. I don't know. Third one. Kill the Poor. Dead Kennedys. Came out about the time of... Oh yeah, I didn't say. This came out in 1980, as this one did too, 1980. It's Kill the Poor, backed with... And this is a cherry red one. This is a UK Insight. In the UK, they were... Their early stuff was released on Cherry Red Records. And this is their fourth one. Dead Kennedys, Too Drunk to Fuck. Backed with The Prey. And this also is a UK on Cherry Records. And that's what they look like. The next one was Nazi Punks Fuck Off. And let's see what we got here. It came in this. Let's see what's on the other side. Ah, fuck it. It came with this thing. You're supposed to sew this onto your battle jacket or whatever, I guess. Nazi Punks Fuck Off, Dead Kennedys. I think most of their singles are pretty common. And it was backed with Moral Majority. And the last single I have by them is Bleed For Me. Fantastic song. Backed with Life Sentence. And let's see what came with a little lyric sheet. And finally I have something on that Alternative Tentacles logo. And this is what the other side looks like. I'll put it back. They had one more single after this one. I thought I had it, but I couldn't find it. Halloween. Their first album is Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. This is the first pressed US. It actually was pressed first in the UK. I mean, you gotta remember, bands like with names like Dead Kennedys, they're not getting produced or released by major labels like the UK. New York, they had Cider Records that was releasing punk rock. In the West Coast, that was not happening. On the West Coast, they were looking for the next Eagles or next Van Halen, to be quite frankly. And a band like, with a name like Dead Kennedys, didn't have a chance. In fact, I was put aback when I first heard the name Dead Kennedys. Man, it's kind of in bad taste, you know. And it's got the band back here with their heads. This was actually a band, I guess, and they sued, so the second issues didn't have the heads on it. And that actually looks pretty funny. This is probably my favorite Dead Kennedys album, but not by much. It sounds a little different than all of their others. It's not as polished. It's got this weird kind of sound. But it's got a great songs. Kill the Poor, Forward to Death, Let's Lynch the Landlord, Police Truck, Chemical Warfare, Your Emotions. I think Chemical Warfare, the last song on side 1, might be the weakest song on the side, you know. Side 2 starts off with California Uberalis, just a fantastic song. Stealing People's Mail, another one. Funland at the Beach, Holiday in Cambodia, and it ends with the Elvis song Viva Las Vegas. Just fantastic shit. And let's show the poster. It comes with these posters. And that's one thing about the Dead Kennedys. They were known for their art. And it's got this collage by Winston Smith, I believe is the chap's name. I did a video on him and Raymond Pettibone. And it comes with this giant poster. It's two-sided. Anybody that knows the Dead Kennedys knows that they always, most of their releases have stuff like that. And Winston Smith also designed this Dead Kennedys logo. And I believe on this album here, the U.S. release is the first time this was ever on a label or ever showed up. And he basically did it with 4 lines. They told him, we want something simple. So he just, I think he did it with toothpicks. He put a toothpick here, here, there, and there. DK. Great logo. Simple. Simple is usually best, in my opinion, in art, in music, and in life, you know. Their second release is In God We Trust. And this cover also is a Winston Smith cover. This was actually, I think, it's dollar bills with a crucifix on there. And he had this on the wall, and Jello went to his house, and they were talking. He goes, that needs to be on a cover. And then it's got all these barcodes. This is officially an EP, but I call it an album, whatever. It's, at the time when this came out, it was probably, let's put it this way, I had never heard anything played this fast. Came out in 81, and it was faster than, say, the Germs album, but it wasn't as brutal. And I didn't really care for it that much when it first came out. I like it a lot more now, but it may be my least favorite. Second least favorite of all the Dead Kennedys releases. It's got Religious Vomit, Moral Majority, Hyperactive Child, Keep Home Factory, and Dog Bite. All very fast, hard-hitting songs, and they don't really, none of them really stick out. I always like Side 2 better. With Nazi Punks Fuck Off, we've got a bigger problem now, which was a longer, drawn-out, slowed-down version of California Uberalis and Rawhide. The cover, I think the theme song from a old cowboy TV show from the 60s or 50s. And the label, Alternative Tentacles, and this is what the other side looks like. Third release, Dead Kennedys, Plastic Surgery, Disasters. I never knew what this picture was. It just kind of weird to me. But it turns out it was an award-winning photograph of some man in Africa holding a starving kid's hand. Just terrible, man. And this back cover, pretty weird. Mazia know who the photographer is of this. I don't know. But this album is really good. It's different than the previous ones. And some of the songs are longer. It's not, the sound is a little more polished. It's not polished, but, and it's almost a perfect album. Side one that starts off with Government Flu, fantastic. Then it goes into Terminal Preppy, maybe the weakest song in the album. And then Trust Your Mechanic. And then Well Paid Scientist. Those three songs, to me, are the weakest on the album. And it's kind of a shame that that's how side one started. But at least they got that shit out of the way, you know. And after that, it goes with something bomb. I forget now. Buzz Bomb. Forest Fire. Halloween. It's got some of their best songs ever. Let's see. Yeah, it finishes with Buzz Bomb, Forest Fire, Halloween, and Winnebago Warrior. I mean, those 4 songs, and the first song are so much better than those 3. But side 2, I think, is better. You got Riot, which is almost a 6-minute song. You got Bleed For Me, which is fantastic, 3.5-minute song. I Am the Owl, another fantastic song, almost 5 minutes. And then you got Dead End, almost a 4-minute song. And then Moon Over Marin, another 4-minute song. Moon Over Marin is fantastic. It's slowed down, more melodic, and it's just fantastic. I've heard people say, you know, man, what if they would have done more stuff like that, you know? And this one, it didn't come with a poster. It came with a book, which actually I think is better. Again, by that Winston Smith chap. And it's just pages after pages of collages. You know, you got this monster guy after this pretty gal. Just different weird stuff, you know. I mean, this Winston Smith is a very influential artist. A lot of people, you see this kind of stuff now a lot. He's a very influential artist. He is copied a lot. This one here's got a lot of cars on it and just fantastic stuff. This is their 4th one, Frankenchrist. And this might be my 2nd favorite. It's very close with Plastic Surgery Disasters. Another great cover. Just fantastic shit. No, it doesn't have the songs anywhere. In fact, it doesn't even say Dead Kennedys on the cover anywhere, you know? Just right here. Fantastic shit. And it came with this little alternative Tentacles order sheet. And it came with a poster. And this poster, I'm not going to really show it. It probably is why the Dead Kennedys ended up breaking up. It ended up bankrupting them. They were sued for pornography. I found a record store was selling the poster by itself, and I picked it up, and I was surprised to find that this one is quite a bit smaller than this one. So I guess later editions, yeah, it's almost 3/4 of an inch to an inch here, shorter. So I guess the later editions, the poster was a little smaller. All these records I've shown so far are first presses. And this is the album, Frankenchrist. Now, when I bought this album, I not only got the poster, the pornography poster, they also gave me a poster, which is a rarer poster, and I wish I would have kept it. I lost it. It was a poster of this. I think it said Frankenchrist and had this on there. And I think the shop only got 5 of those, and they let me have one. And it's got the lyrics over here. This starts off with Soup is Good Food, a great song. This is a good album, man. And it's got the sound, a little more metallic. It's not heavy metal, but it's got a little more of a metallic sound. Now, I haven't really talked about their sound. fantastic musicians. The guitar player, East Bay Ray, he had a lot of like surf guitar influence in his guitars. You have that on this album, but there's a little more heavier riffing too going on. Their last studio album is Bedtime in Democracy. And this might be my least favorite, or that second one, the In God We Trust. This one here, it's got an illustration by Winston Smith. A little, I mean, I never even paid attention to all this shit, but I was looking at it going, pretty political. A lot of shit going on here, you know. Oh, and it's very relevant to what's going on today. Whatever, you know. The same shit's relevant in decades past and in decades in the future. I guarantee you, you know. Don't think, you know, anybody that's out now and you're coming out with all this, it's nothing that hasn't been done in the 1800s. And it's got this other, this I think would have been a better cover, actually, this other Winston Smith illustration. And this, on the previous two albums, the songs were getting longer. I mean, I think you had like 8 or 9 songs on one side. And on those other albums, you were having like 5 or 6, you know. On this one here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 songs on side 1. And let me show the record. Alternative Tentacles. And let me see. It starts off with Take This Job and Shove It. I guess it's the cover of that song. It's okay. It's pretty good. But then after that, you got Hop with the Jet Set, Dear Abby, Rambozo the Clown, Flesh Dance. Dead Kennedys are always had social commentary in their songwriting, Jello Biafra songwriting. Same as here as Rambozo the Clown and Flesh Dance. But the humor wasn't quite there on this album, in my opinion. And then you got The Great Wall, Shrink, Triumph of the Swill, Macho Insecurity. I mean, some of these songs are okay, but nothing really great. Until the second to last song, I Spy, and then the last song, Cesspools in Eden. Those 2 songs are great. Side 2, it's kind of the same thing. But towards the end, there's got this one song, Where Do You Draw the Line? One of the best Dead Kennedy songs ever. And it's just fantastic, the lyrics to that song and just the whole. And you got this, No More Censorship Defense Fund. You know, they were begging for money now, man, because they were getting taken to court over that stupid poster. And this got the Bill of Rights, and it's got newspaper articles, and it's got so much information I never read. Oh, Rich, what kind of fan are you? And then you got this, which is probably done by Winston Smith. Got a newspaper here, Fuck Facts. And you got all these headlines. Probably from real headlines. And this newspaper's pretty cool. Got collages going on. And then the last thing that was in there was another one of these order sheets. And the last album, Dead Kennedys, what's the name of this thing? Give Me Convenience or Give Me Death. It's a compilation of all their singles. The songs on the single versions were different than the versions on the album. This had all their singles, some stuff that might have been on comps. It's also got this one song on here, Pull My Strings, which is a song they did live that they never did. They never performed it again, and it was never on anything. Really good stuff. But then you got Buzz Bomb from Pasadena, and you got Night of the Living Rednecks, which is on the CD, but it is not on the album. So I never heard those 2 songs. They are on this flexi disc that came with the record, but I never listened to this. And they're great. And then it's also got this add order form. Now the song, what is it, Redneck? What is it? Night of the Living Rednecks. It's a spoken word thing where East Bay Ray broke his guitar string and Jello Biafra was talking, telling this story. And it's fantastic. But that was the one thing about Jello. He likes to talk. He is a bullshitter. He's similar to Mike, similar to me. He's a big bullshitter. And that was the one drawback to them. Sometimes, I mean, there's a line there, you know. Sometimes it was great. Other times he would go on too much. And it's like, come on, dude, just play the next song. And it also came with this booklet. More of the same type of stuff. This one has the lyrics to all the songs. And this is what the record looks like. Great stuff. Now I do have 3 other releases. This is Dead Kennedys live at the Def Club. This came out in 2004, and this is fantastic, dude. It's recorded in '79, I think, and it's the very last time that 6025 played with them. They used to have 2 guitar players, and this is fantastic. I highly recommend this live album. It's on red vinyl, and I think it's a European only release, and I'm not sure if this label is legit or not. I've heard Let Them Eat Vinyl. I've heard some people say it is. I've heard other people say it isn't. Now this one is legit. It's Mutiny on the Bay, Dead Kennedys live from the San Francisco Bay Area. A little bit later, this is 80s stuff, and this is fantastic too. Just great. I highly recommend the 2 live albums. And it comes in this sleeve. Yeah, that's what the label looks like. Just great live. They were a great live band. And the last one I'm going to show is the Dead Kennedys Iguana Studios rehearsal tape, San Francisco, 1978. And you don't really need this one. It's not that good. This was a record store day. And this is what this label looks like. And that's it. That's my Dead Kennedys. All I got to say about the Dead Kennedys, I wish they would kiss and make up. They did have the other band members sue Jello Biafra, I guess because of royalties. There was some kind of mix-up. Jello wasn't behind it, but they sued him. And Jello Biafra lost the rights to the Dead Kennedys name. So if you go see the Dead Kennedys now, you got 3 original members and a wanker singing. It's not the Dead Kennedys. I mean, come on, you guys. Get together and get your... That's it. Take care. Yabba dabba doo.